Thank you for joining me once again. Today we are looking at topic number 2, interpersonal skills. This is a very interesting topic and I hope that you will enjoy it and like it. What is also important in this topic is that you must participate effectively. At the end of it all, this topic will build you up and will give you important skills that are important in cultivating effective workplace relationships. Make sure that you ask questions, make sure that you participate effectively as this topic will transform and change you. What are the learning outcomes for this topic? This topic has got three principal and critical learning outcomes that you must master. These learning outcomes can easily be simplified in three words. You may be wondering, what are those three words? Let me relax you. The three words are as follows. Number one, understand. Number two, identify. Number three, develop. Let us now look at each learning outcome in more detail. Learning outcome number one. What does it require you to do? It requires you to understand the critical and key interpersonal skills that are important for the modern day organization. Learning outcome number two seeks you to identify these key interpersonal skills. You must be able to list them. And learning outcome number three requires you to be able to develop your own interpersonal skills so that you become effective in building critical and crucial workplace relationships. It is important that you master each and every of the three learning outcomes. There is no organization that can become world class without having employees, or rather men and women, who possess excellent interpersonal skills. What therefore do I mean by interpersonal skills? It means that the focus is on interactive skills, it is on social competence, it is on people skills. People skills are very important for the modern day organization. Why are people skills very important? Remember, the modern day organization has become a bedrock of diversity. Diversity means that at the workplace, you meet different people, and these people are different in terms of what? Different in terms of marital status, different in terms of race, different in terms of level of education, different in terms of religion, different in terms of culture, different in terms of language. So all these people with their different characteristics and their different background, yet they are expected to work together for the achievement and attainment of the goals of the organization. It is therefore very important that every individual's interpersonal skills are well sharpened and they are well developed. It is also critical that we must pay attention to the notion that the organization can never and will never achieve its goals and objectives if its employees are not united. Employees can only be united if they possess excellent interpersonal skills. This means that they'll be able to relate to each other, they will set aside their differences, and they will work for the greater goal, which are the goals of the organization. Remember, I said excellent interpersonal skills are very important for the development of fruitful and excellent workplace relationships. There are domains such as leadership, teamwork, and networking that require you to possess excellent interpersonal skills. You cannot be able to function effectively in these domains if you possess poor interpersonal skills. There is therefore a significant requirement for you as an administrator to possess excellent interpersonal skills. Take note that most of the problems that are facing the modern day organization, they are not emanating from a lack of knowledge, but they are emanating from a lack of excellent interpersonal skills. You may therefore be wondering, how therefore do I develop excellent interpersonal skills? Well, The answer lies in socialization. It is very important that at a young age you are socialized properly, and the family becomes important in this domain. However, if you are brought up in a family in which you are not properly nurtured, all hope is not lost. There are many who have turned around their situations, and you also can turn around your own situation by focusing and also having a mindset that you can change and it can be done. Let me be practical because the issue of excellent interpersonal skills requires a practical approach. The problem of gender based violence that is being experienced currently in society is as a result of poor socialization. Once we focus effectively on socialization issues, we will be able to effectively tame and address this problem. But this problem is also now navigated to the workplace. How some individuals relate to women at the workplace, it leaves a lot to be desired. We need to treat women at the workplace with respect and with dignity. That is very fundamental and critical. The answer, therefore, lies in effective socialization and the development of excellent interpersonal skills. I cannot do justice to this discussion of leadership without inviting a participative approach. Leadership is such a critical aspect that it requires the possession of excellent interpersonal skills. There is no leader who can be effective, there is no leader who can be excellent without possessing excellent interpersonal skills. Because leaders, they relate and deal with people on a daily basis. Therefore, in order for them to cultivate fruitful and effective relationships, they must possess excellent interpersonal skills. But before I invite a participative approach, let me focus on the definition of leadership. Remember that there are over 300 definitions of leadership. Yet, in this instance, I have only selected one definition. And the definition by Ferreira and Greenwald, 2016, on page 388, the key issue is to illustrate the key aspects that are possessed in this definition. What are those aspects? Number one, there's the issue of influence. Number two, there's the issue of inspiration. Number three, there's the issue of motivation. Number four, there's the issue of guidance. So the secret is that whatever definition of leadership that you may come across, the issue is to isolate the key issues that are being brought out by such a definition. Some of the definitions of leadership that you may read and come across, they may bring out the following aspects: the notion of vision, the notion of passion, the notion of purpose, the notion of conviction, the notion of direction, and the notion of determination. Now, I challenge you to provide other definitions of leadership that you have either read or that you have come across. So each and every one of you must give a definition of leadership. Remember, I said leaders must possess excellent interpersonal skills in order for them to become effective. I am therefore persuaded to think of leaders such as our own Nelson Mandela. I am also persuaded to think of the former president of Tanzania, Julius Kambarage Nyerere. But the focus must not only be on political leaders, it may also be on leaders of corporations and parastatals. I am at this time also persuaded to think of the former public protector, Mrs. Tulima Donsela. The office of the public protector was largely unknown until when she came onto the scene. She did such a great job that many now they know the functions and they know the existence of the office of the public protector. Leaders, therefore, must be selfless, and leaders must also possess excellent interpersonal skills if they are to do justice to the domain of leadership. I now give you another task to focus on. Give an example or examples of leaders, whether they be in politics, whether they be in business, in corporations, in parastatals, who have been effective in the domain of leadership. In order for you to have a clear practical understanding of the importance of networking, let me begin by telling you a story. And this story is entitled Samantha's Breakthrough. Samantha had just finished and graduated with a higher certificate in business administration from Richfield. She understood the need to further her education in a knowledge economy, and she therefore articulated to a Bachelor of Business Administration degree with Richfield. In her third year, Richfield invited various companies, which included Standard Bank, Vodacom, and Nedbank, among many others, as part of career guidance. Samantha made sure that she asked vital questions to know more about these companies. She also reached out to the presenters and asked for their business cards. She networked and developed these relationships. Samantha currently works for Vodacom as a result of the networks she built on this particular day. Networking, therefore, is of critical importance. Samantha, in this case, she managed to get permanent employment as a result of networks that were built during a career guidance day. Let me emphasize that you therefore need excellent interpersonal skills in order for you to be able to network effectively. Networking means you reach out and you create new relationships. And these relationships are vital and of importance to everybody involved. It will be a very serious mistake if you do not network amongst yourselves. You are in the same class, you are studying at the same institution, and you never know what comes out of tomorrow. Some of you who are with us right now, you are the future executives of corporations. You are the future presidents of nations. You are future politicians. You are future head of companies, parastatals. So it is very important that you begin to practice the art of networking in this instance. It is very vital that when you network, you expand your horizons. The modern organization encourages the aspect of networking. Make sure that you develop networks and make sure that you know each and every colleague in your class. Networking is very vital, it is very critical. And above everything all, it requires you to have excellent interpersonal skills. Let us now focus on teamwork. Remember, we said interpersonal skills are very important in order for one to function effectively in the domain of leadership, in the domain of networking, and also in the domain of teamwork. And in this instance, our focus is now on teamwork. Remember that the modern organization has been tailored such that the team exists above the individual. Therefore, it is very important that team members must get along with each other effectively. The importance of key interpersonal skills comes into play in that each and every member of the team, in order for them to relate to others, with responsibility, with love, with concern, with respect. It is based upon the interpersonal skills that they possess. Individuals within the team who possess poor interpersonal skills, they end up affecting the overall performance of the team. They end up being divisive. They end up fueling conflict within the team. And this conflict may be destructive to the unity that is existing within the team. It is therefore very vital that interpersonal skills are developed for each and every team member. In other instances, it is also important to understand that the team leaders who lead these teams, if they possess poor interpersonal skills, they end up overall affecting the stability of the team. I will give you a practical example. For example, think of a netball team that is not performing. And when we change the coach, suddenly the same players who were not performing under a particular coach, they begin to produce excellent results. So what was the problem? The problem was that the coach did not possess excellent interpersonal skills. Therefore, the coach related poorly to the team players. It is therefore important that every team leader must possess excellent interpersonal skills because overall it affects the stable, excellent functioning of the team. Make sure that you have got a responsibility as part of a team. Do not be that team member who affects the excellent functioning of the team because you do not possess excellent interpersonal skills. And whenever you are involved in things, you begin to scatter everything. It is your responsibility that you have a mindset of ensuring that your interpersonal skills are sharpened and developed. In order for you to function effectively in leadership, network building, and teamwork, you must possess the requisite interpersonal skills. These skills include mentorship, delegation, motivation, network building, collaboration, and also decision making. In order for you to progress in your career path, in your career choice, you need a mentor. A mentor is an experienced employee who will be able to guide you effectively. Managers at times they suffer from stress because they are not able to delegate effectively. It is therefore important that one possesses the interpersonal skill of being able to delegate. Motivation is important because you are able to influence and inspire others. It is also important that you develop network building skills. This will mean that you are able to reach out and make new friends. It is also important that you are able to collaborate. Collaboration means being able to work with others together efficiently and effectively. Decision making means that you are able to choose the best alternative amongst a given set of alternatives. It is apparent and incumbent, therefore, that every individual who seeks to become world class must develop their interpersonal working skills. You cannot become a world class administrator unless you possess excellent interpersonal skills. What are some of these interpersonal skills that you must possess? You must be able to communicate effectively, you must be assertive, and you must have the ability and capacity to resolve conflict. Let me now focus on the need to be able to communicate effectively. Communication is the backbone of an excellent and effective world class administrator. It is therefore important that you, as a world class administrator, you must be excellent in your verbal and non-verbal communication skills. Remember in topic 1, we said Verbal communication makes use of words, and non-verbal communication is wordless communication. And if you may recap and remember, I said that there must be a balance between verbal and non-verbal communication. If you are to transition and become a world-class office administrator, it is therefore important that when you communicate, you must understand that there are particular values that you must take into consideration. Cultural values are very important if one is able to relate to others effectively and efficiently. It is therefore incumbent upon you to understand that the world has become a global village. As the world has become a global village, it means therefore that you will work with people from different cultures, different religions, and different nationalities. And you must be able to communicate effectively and efficiently towards them. You must be able to embrace them. After all, in diversity, there is strength. In diversity, when we unify, we can make a difference for the organizations that we work for. It is important that you must develop the mindset of a world class administrator. A world class administrator is able to work in any environment and anywhere because they possess excellent communication skills. You are the one and you can do it. There is nothing that you cannot become. All you need to do in your journey to become a world class administrator is to focus on developing your communication skills. Some people are not able to say no. Some people are not able to challenge bad things that may be happening in the organization that they don't subscribe to. They can watch bad things happening and yet remain quiet. But deep inside, they are against what is happening. The key question is, why do they not speak out? Why do they not express themselves against what is happening? At times, they even fail to defend themselves against the certain policies that may be put in place, and yet, if they challenge them, they have better knowledge and ideas. Yet, they choose to remain quiet. What is the problem? The problem is that they lack the interpersonal aspect of being assertive. Being assertive means that you are able to express your thoughts, your feelings, your desires. You are able to defend what you believe in without offending anybody. Assertiveness does not mean that you need to disrespect others. You still need to respect them in terms of their way of thinking. So, assertiveness is a good aspect, it is a good principle. You cannot become a world class administrator until and unless you become assertive, which means you are able to defend and stand for what you believe in. This will help you in shaping positive relationships because by being assertive, it means that you are open minded, you are open to criticism, and you are also able to constructively criticize others. It is therefore your responsibility in your journey to greatness in becoming a world class administrator that you develop the interpersonal skill of assertiveness. In order for us to have a clear understanding of conflict resolution, we need to go back and look at some of the causes of conflict within organizations. But before we go there, we need to appreciate the concept of conflict. What do we mean by conflict? Simply, the notion of conflict means that there is disagreement. There is opposition in terms of thoughts, in terms of ideas within the organization. Therefore, no matter how fruitful, no matter how stable the relationships in the organization may be, there is that one day when conflict will occur. There is therefore agreement that conflict is inevitable in organizations, which simply means that conflict is unavoidable. No matter the measures that we may put, conflict will still occur. But when conflict occurs, it must be resolved. When conflict occurs, it must be resolved. But probably I also need to give another dimension of conflict, because at times we tend to focus on the negative side of conflict. But the reality is that conflict can also be positive. So, what we like in organizations is positive conflict. Why? Because it leads to innovation and it also leads to creativity. What we do not want in organizations is negative conflict, because it is toxic and it is also destructive, and therefore it must be immediately resolved. What are some of the causes of conflict within organizations? These causes may include personality differences, it may include cultural clashes, it may include differences in level of education. It may also include unclear rules and regulations or unclear policies. The key in resolving conflict is that we must identify the root cause of the conflict. At times, organizations fail to effectively resolve conflict because they are reacting to the symptoms of the conflict instead of the root cause of the conflict. Make sure that you first identify the root cause of the conflict, then you will be able to bring the proper solution to the conflict. It is equally important for us also to understand the different kinds of conflict that may occur in the organization. This may easily be understood by understanding the word inter and intra. If we say intra organizational conflict, it means that this is conflict that is taking place within the organization. If we say intra-personal conflict, it means that this is conflict that is taking place within the individual. If we say inter-organizational conflict, it means that this is conflict that is taking place between two or more organizations. I hope this distinction is simplified in order for you to easily understand the different kinds of conflict. Another key thumb rule that is important is that when you resolve conflict, make sure that it results in a win-win situation for everybody involved in the conflict. Let me repeat myself once again. Make sure that whenever you resolve conflict, it must result in a win-win situation for everybody involved in the conflict. Anger, anger, anger. Anger can both be good and bad. Yes, you heard me clearly. I said anger can both be good and bad. But let me now look first at the good side of anger. The good side of anger is that you are able to express deeper, innermost emotional feelings. At times, people may wrong you. Remember, in the modern workplace, it's all about relationships. But at times, there is tension in the relationships, and at times, people may negatively pick on you, and you have every reason to get angry. So, in those situations or circumstances, you need to express your negative feelings of emotions of anger. But whilst you are angry, don't do anything that is silly. You must learn to control your anger. And make sure also that you do not spend the whole day angry. Make sure that you release your anger, and after that, relationships are repaired and are restored. That is the good side of anger. Because if you are continuously angry and you do not express it, the day that you get angry, you will explode and you will cause serious damage and serious harm. Let us look at the bad side of anger. The bad side of anger pertains to anger that is uncontrolled, uncontrollable anger. There are some people who, when they get angry, they become violent. They begin to destroy organizational property. They begin to punch other people in all these things. Make sure that when you get angry, you must manage your anger. Otherwise, you need to go for anger management because that kind of anger destroys relationships. It is destructive by nature, and if unchecked and uncontrolled, you may actually end up in prison. So it is very, very important and it is very, very vital that at times when there's an explosive situation and you know that you are not able to control yourself, you need to walk away. Walk away is a good defense mechanism. It is not cowardice. I repeat myself again. It is not cowardice to walk away. You are not a coward by walking away out of an explosive situation that you know that you may not be able to control your anger, but it is actually a sign of maturity. So, no matter the situation or the scenario, the key essence is that you must be able to control your anger because anger that is unmanaged, anger that is uncontrollable will destroy relationships and it may also destroy you. Remember when I talked about teamwork, I said you cannot be able to function effectively in a team environment or in a team setup if you don't possess excellent interpersonal skills. In this case study exercise, therefore, which focuses on the importance of interpersonal skills within a team situation or within a team environment, what you need to do is you need to read the case study and thereafter you need to answer the questions that follow. Remember, participative learning is of critical importance at this level of study. It will also assist you in unpacking and in dissecting if you have understood the learning outcomes of this particular topic. So this case study will be discussed in class and you'll be able to give your various contributions. So I hope that you will enjoy this case study, participate, give your views, give application to it, and it will change you, it will build you up, it will build confidence in you, and you'll become better and better as we navigate through these various topics. After reading the case study, you must attempt to answer the questions that you've been given. So there are three questions that you need to pay attention to. Get a paper and pen when you do your research, write your answers, and in a class environment or in a class situation, give your views, give your responses to these particular questions. Remember, as a world-class administrator, one of the key interpersonal skills is confidence. Be confident of your answer. I am proud of you because I know that you will not be shy to participate. You will not be shy to give your answers. We can only become excellent and better if we adopt a participatory approach. I am proud of you. I'm very excited and proud about you as you continue to engage in participative learning. I'm very proud of you. Thank you for your participation. I look forward to be with you once again in topic number 3 when I will discuss about leadership and conflict management. But before I go, I would like to recite this memorable quote by Max Mesmer. Max Mesmer says, your career success in the workplace of today, independent of technical expertise, depends on the quality of your people skills. Your people skills are therefore very vital, other than the technical competence and knowledge that you may possess. I urge you, therefore, to continue developing your people skills. Make more friends and make more friends. Until then, let's meet in topic number 3, leadership and conflict management.